Every year I make a book of prediction video, and in my research I look at hundreds of books and come across some weird, wonderful, strange, bizarre, and just unusual sounding books, and I always want to share them with you, so that's what this video is. I'm not saying that these books are going to be good, I'm not saying they're going to be bad, and I'm not really saying otherwise. They're just interesting sounding books. Janine Capo-Cruset's novel Say Hello to My Little Friend is being advertised as Scarface meets Moby Dick, hence the title, I assume. Dark comedy, thriller, magical realism, mystery, fantasy, contemporary, literary fiction, that is a lot of genres. Failed Pitbull impersonator Ishmael Reyes, you can call him Izzy, might not be the Scarface type, but why would that keep him from trying? Growing up in Miami has shaped him into somebody who dreams of being king of the 305, with the money, power, and the respect he assumes comes with it. After finding himself at the mercy of a cease and desist letter from Pitbull's legal team and living in his auntie's garage, Izzy embarks on an absurd quest to turn himself into a modern-day Tony Montana, when Izzy's efforts lead him to the tank that houses Lolita, a captive orca in the Miami Seaquarium. She proves just how powerful she and the water surrounding her really are, permeating everything from Miami's sinking streets to Izzy's memories to the very heart of the novel itself. What begins as Izzy's story turns into a super-saturated fever dream as sprawling and surreal as the Magic City. One as sharp as an iguana's claws and as menacing as a killer whale's teeth. I think every gangster origin story that I have ever read has been completely and criminally lacking in orcas, which is weird because those animals are ruthless, especially if you're one of the sharks they like to rip the livers out of for fun. I'd rather be alone in the woods with a bear than an orca any day. This novel could be the pod of Booker 2024. Beautyland by Marie Helen Bertino. At the moment when Voyager 1 is launched into space carrying its famous golden record, a baby of unusual perception is born to a single mother in Philadelphia. Adina Geronio is tiny and jaundiced, but she reaches for warmth and light. As a child, she recognizes that she is different. She possesses knowledge of a faraway planet. The arrival of a fax machine enables her to contact her extraterrestrial relatives, beings who have sent her to report on the oddities of Earthlings. For years, as she moves through the world and makes a life for herself among humans, she dispatches transmissions on the terrors and surprising joys of their existence. Then, at a precarious moment, a beloved friend urges Adina to share her message with the world. Is there a chance that she is not alone? Everybody who still uses a fax machine is a secret alien. There is a logic to that statement. This novel gives me Sayada Murata's Earthling vibes, maybe with slightly less cannibalism and horrible sexual assault. But, are the aliens real? Is it a literary fiction about alienation, or a science fiction about aliens? Or is it just about mental illness? It is advertising itself as a science fiction and as a literary fiction, and I think there's so many readers out there, and definitely people who are watching this video, who love it when speculative and literary intersect. Fragile Animals by Genevieve Jaeger. When an ex-Catholic woman develops a sexual relationship with a vampire, she is forced to confront the memories that haunt her religious past. Struggling to deal with the familial trauma of her Catholic upbringing, hotel cleaner Noelle travels to the Isle of Butte. There, she meets a man who claims to be a vampire, and a relationship blooms between them based solely on confessions. I've been preparing this video for a while, and I've been sick for quite a lot of that, and I'm also awaiting a new pair of glasses with an updated script. So if you add the mental fog and the poor eyesight to my already heightened state of stupidity and my chronic dyslexia, the first time I read that I thought that the relationship was based solely on confusion, which kind of makes sense if you're making love to a vampire. After all, aren't they just really sexy corpses? As talk turns sacrilegious and the weather outside grows cold, Noelle struggles to come to terms with her blasphemous sexuality. She becomes hounded by memories of her past, her mother's affair with the local priest, and the part she played in ending it. Advertised as a queer vampire erotica that is about Catholicism, it's another one of these novels that kind of sounds like a car crash, but I want to read it just to make sure. It definitely sounds a little bit fucked up, but not quite as fucked up as Brainworms by Alison Rumsfeld, which is the only novel in this video that I've already read, and it's pretty comfortably the most fucked up novel I have ever read. I felt emotions I didn't even know I had, and most of them were just variations on disgust. When a transphobic woman bombs Frankie's workplace, she blows up Frankie's life with it. As the media descends like vultures, Frankie tries to cope with the carnage, binge drinking, fucking strangers, pushing away her friends. Then she meets Vanya, mysterious, beautiful, terrifying Vanya. The two hit it off immediately, but as their relationship intensifies, so does Frankie's feelings that Vanya is hiding something from her. When Vanya's secret threatens to tear them apart, Frankie starts digging and unearthing a sinister, depraved conspiracy, the root of which goes deeper than she ever imagined. Shocking, grotesque, and downright filthy, Brainworm confronts the creeping reality of political terrorism while exploring the depth of love, pain, and identity. I read this book late last year, and I have to be honest, I'm still not sure if I liked it. It was brilliant, but some things should remain in your head and not inflicted onto the world. Reader beware, this is literary horror at its most. I don't really know, but it really does make a book like Earthlings by Sayaka Murata look like a children's picture book. Once you understand the thing about the worms, you'll realize that this is a lovely book if you enjoy the taste of your own vomit in your mouth. A strangely brilliant novel. Not so much a weird novel incoming, but a weird description. Worry by Alexandra Tanner is calling itself a Seinfeldian novel of existentialism and sisterhood. And the Venn diagram of people who are interested in those three things does not intersect. Scribner, my soul is bruised from reading that description. A Seinfeldian novel of existentialism and sisterhood. Who is reading that? Glorious Exploits by Ferdia Lennon. Part Waiting for Godot, part Oh Brother Where Art Thou, and completely original. Glorious Exploits is a celebration of the things that bind humans across battle lines and histories, and an ode to the redemptive power of storytelling. Set in Syracuse during the Peloponnesian War, but told in contemporary Irish dialect, Glorious Exploits follows Lampo and Glennon, best friends since childhood, thrived to have survived the Athenians' recent invasion and are shocked by the Syracusan victory as everyone else. These unemployed potters are in the mood to celebrate. Of course, they hate the Athenians. Still, that doesn't mean you can't love the theatre of their great playwright Euripides, does it? Realizing that if the Athenians are as doomed as everyone says, this might be the last chance to hear Euripides' poetry. They go down to the quarry and work with the Athenian prisoners, offering extra rations to any prisoner who can recite his work. A decision that sets into motion an extraordinary set of events. Now, comparisons to Samuel Beckett often end up with the author being labelled as an estrogen to his Vladimir, and should be avoided at all costs, especially if they're some sort of hack Irish modernist with alliterative initials. But weird he definitely was, and weird any novel being compared to Waiting for Godot is definitely going to be. Creation Lake by Rachel Kushner. Sadie Smith, a sardonic, strikingly sexy 30-something undercover agent of questionable morals, is sent by her mysterious but powerful employer to a remote corner of France. Her instructions are to infiltrate a commune of radical eco-activists and coax them into violent action, provoking the French state to crush them and their dangerous ideas for good. At first, Sadie finds Bruno's idealism laughable. He lives in a Neanderthal cave and believes the part of enlightenment is a return to primitivism. But over time, she falls for his narrative, his ingenious counter-histories, his artful laments. His own devastating story becomes impossible to turn away from. Beneath this Sky novel parody about a woman caught in the crossfires between the past and the future lies a profound treatise on human history. Now, Kushner has been shortlisted for the Booker Prize previously, so this one is definitely on the more likely side to get longlisted of this video. And I can see how this novel could be a quite deep and thinky novel, but on its surface, it's just a few olives short of a fruit salad. Mary and the Rabbit Dream by Nomi Kistiki. This is one I heard about first from the wonderful Ben of Ben Reads Good, and it sounds great. A sardonic feminist reimagining of the story of Mary Toft, infamous rabbit birthing hoaxer. Mary was just another 8th century woman living in poverty, misery, and frequent pain, the kind of person overlooked by those in power, forgotten by historians. Mary Toft was nothing until, that is, Mary Toft started giving birth to rabbits. I mean, that does sound like a far-fetched thing, but don't forget in 2024 we have Jordan Peterson and Andrew Tate. Mary and the Rabbit Dream is a story of bodily autonomy, of absurdity, of the horrors inflicted on women, of the cruel realities of poverty and the grotesque divide between rich and poor. I'm still convinced that this could be a novel about Tate or Peterson. I'd like to thank my wonderful Patreons for their support. Patreon is an excellent way to support this channel, just as the lovely people on the screen right now have done. If you would like to support this channel too, I would love it if you joined our Patreon. Thank you for watching. Bye bye.